Mabuhay pageant fans! Welcome back to my YouTube channel again. Okay, I know I said I would wrap up my MGI thoughts with my previous content, but allow me to still insert this video before we move on to Miss Universe. Grabe, suddenly all of us Filipino pageant fans are slowly having the amor for the pageant all over again, given the pageant owner almost made CJ win this edition last weekend. I know we are still on a high now, and so it's important that we really need to send a worthy representative to the contest next year. We really have to be strategic in sending the next girl. After all, we finally learned to imbibe what a pageant owner likes for his winner. And so let's talk about some ladies whom I think deserve to be worthy contestants in becoming our next Miss Grand Philippines. So shout out to Vince of Pageant Styling on Instagram for suggesting me this content. So I've got 7 ladies whom I want to join Miss Grand Philippines next year. And so here they are. My first prospect, no surprise, Gabby Basano. I really hope this former Binibining Pilipinas title holder joins Miss Grand International in the near future because she really has the MGI prototype for her. Maganda, matangkad, at rampadora, and I'm sure she will be a hit in this pageant system should she consider going back to the pageant scene. The thing that gets us to Gabby the most is that she knows how to make her performance very bakla and campy. She can be extra and ultra vampy while retaining that classiness. I still remember back then when she was still competing for her first try in Binibining Pilipinas back in 2021, she donned this beautiful gold kalesa costume which reminded me so much of how a typical Miss Czech Republic would look like in Miss Grand International. And I was so amazed with her look back then. And then of course, there were her wardrobe paandars for the evening gown segments of the competitions that she took part of from Binibini to her international pageant assignment. And so who could ever forget that salakot accessory for her evening gown performance back in 2021? I thought that was iconic. That paandar was so well thought out, and for sure she could cook up something similar or new ideas should she join again. But more than her wardrobe paandars, I would like Gabby to improve her communication skills because it's one aspect that she has remained to be inconsistent. Alam niyo naman kasi 'di ba sa MGI, it always loves to ask thought-provoking questions in the final Q&A. And so I would love for Gabby to really hone her communication skills to really make her a well-rounded candidate for this pageant system. And now, we go to my next prospect. And she is none other than, no surprise again, Yana Uana, Miss Earth 2023 first runner-up. She is also a fan favorite to join this contest next year, and I see why. Have you seen how she has slowly developed or molded herself to become a pageant unicorn? From being sweet and soft when she was trying out for Binibining Pilipinas to being a certified frontrunner and rampadora in Miss Earth, to now a possible prospect for Miss Grand International this year. Na she really has successfully reinvented herself as a pageant contestera. Beauty, body, business, and lalo na sa brains. Emphasis on brains. This lady seems to have it all. So yes, why not, diba? Why not her? I also hope you won't get me started with her height deficiency because there have been winners or high placers in Miss Grand International before like Eng Pha or even the winner from Vietnam in 2021 and the other candidates too. Na hindi naman talaga big deal yung height, but of course, it's an advantage. Yana has so many positive attributes about herself that we would no longer think of her height if she joins Miss Grand, should she decide to join Miss Grand International. And now we go to my next prospect. And I want Shantal Schmith to try out for MGI too. Yep, surprise. Yes, I'm also including this lady in this list just because she seems to have the 4 Bs as well. I actually want her to go back to Miss Universe Philippines after her successful stint in Miss Eco International earlier this year, but upon careful consideration, she could also take the requirements of this pageant system. Maganda, matangkad, din magaling maglakad, at vavavoom ang katawan. Plus, she's also smart. And among all the 4 Bs, it's her body shape that really hits the MGI prototype the most. Like, for sure, the pageant owner would really be pleased in having a candidate like Shantal in his pageant. And so, if there is anything Shantal needs to improve for MGI, if ever, is her makeup skills to really enhance her beauty more. Sometimes kasi she tends to look more or beyond her current age with some youthful styling to really offset her strong facial features. And now we go to my next prospect, and she's none other than Reena Meyer. She's also one lady I have been waiting to join pageantry. Her facial features, as a result of her biracial background, is enough to excite pageant fans like me waiting for her debut in the pageant scene. So while waiting for her to join, we are still glad that we get to see this beautiful lady in a lot of fashion events. And mind you, she has strong stage presence, which, if we could hone further, will make her a more impactful candidate. And luckily, she is now under the management of Star Magic, so we can be assured that she's being trained to develop her confidence level, GMRC, and personality as early as now. I know she's only 19 yata or 20, and probably still bidding her time to become a seasoned candidate in terms of maturity and confidence, but trust me, Uncle would surely die to have someone like her to his fold. And now we go to my next lady, and I'm giving it to Anita Rose Gomez. Out of all the ladies who I am listing down here for this content, it is this lady whom I want to join Miss Grand International Philippines so bad, because she really has the makings of one. And I think no one can dispute the fact that she is an MGI prototype, especially when it comes to her pasarela skills and her physical asset, which she is known for, which is her waistline. But more than that, it's really her beauty and great attitude that have really enamored me to Anita, na sobrang bait niya talaga in person, and sobrang sweet niya rin whether on or off cam. So character-wise, wala tayong magiging problema sa kanya, at lalo na si Uncle if ever she ends up representing us in MGI in the near future. I also don't think her height will be perceived a weakness, because her killer pasarela skills would surely make up for it. And so if there's one thing she needs to improve, is that she needs to hustle her communication skills. Kasi if we remember it right, her top 10 Q&A performance was a bit wordy and lengthy. And so I would love for her to edit or organize her thoughts for a more impactful performance in this segment of the competition. And now we go to my second to the last prospect, and I'm giving it to Katrina Legado. Of course, our Reina Hispano Queen has to be here in this list. Inspired by Miss Peru this year, who is a Miss Reina Hispano Queen herself, then why not Katrina Legado too? And if we're just going to talk about pure Filipina beauty with killer stage presence and rampadora skills as well, then this girl has it. She's 24 years old when she competed in MUP 2 years ago, and I hope she hasn't thought of retiring in the pageant scene, because she still has so much to give. And if ever she decides to give MGI a go, I would really like her to improve her Q&A skills as well. And finally, we go to my last prospect, and I'm giving it to, surprise, Chella Falconer. Who here hasn't forgotten her? Well, I am one of them. Chella has so much potential talaga to be an MGI PH queen, given her alabaster skin and knockout beauty. Ang ganda-ganda rin talaga ng mukha ni Chella, and sayang na wala na tayong masyadong naririnig sa kanya. And if you check out her Instagram account hasn't been updated, and I don't know what she has been up to these past few years after MUP. I know she only made it to top 16 in MUP back then, but I still remember how great she is as a public speaker, given her love for reading books. And if for anything, I would love for her to improve her styling, as it seems it's the only missing key ingredient for her to finally win a crown. And so I really hope she comes back to pageantry. Alam kong may tinatagong landi pa itong si Chella na hindi natin pa masyadong nakikita na feeling ko pwede or akmang-akma for MGI. So there you go guys. What do you think about my list? Ayan, sinama ko na dyan din ng mga girls na gusto ko din mag-MUP in the near future. But because I feel we have a stronger chance now of winning our first ever Golden Crown than our 5th Miss Universe crown in the next 3 years, kaya sinama ko na silang lahat dito. Actually, I also want to include Celeste Cortesi here in my list, but she already quashed all our hopes as early as now with her Twitter post that she is no longer interested to join pageantry after MUP so that she could already concentrate on her brand new beauty business. Pwede rin, naisip ko rin, pwede rin si Graciela Liman or even si Alexi Brooks, diba, na binabakla minsan yung pasarela niya nung MUP. Ala Miss France. And also, kung napansin nyo rin, majority of the names that I mentioned here are pageant veterans or who have at least competed internationally. Apart from having the name Rico, I also want these girls to galvanize support among everyone as early as knows so that we could bring engagement to their social media right away so that it will swell while they are still preparing. And it's one aspect I have to admit that we have always ignored. And if Angkol sees some of these girls have huge social media following, it will really help them win the crown. So far, Gabby and Yana have been reposting fan content on their IG stories and posts. So maybe they could already do something about it. So that just to hit even 500,000 following within this year, should they really consider joining MGI Philippines in the near future or next year? What do you guys think?